Now, Andre Hepkins, Claire Kellett, meteorologist Kent Earhart, and traffic with Alyssa Reitmeyer and Captain Roger Brand. This is News 4 This Morning.
News 4 This Morning, covering breaking news all morning long. Look at this new video to show you from overnight out of Ferguson. Crowds of people breaking into stores along West Florissant overnight. This is a video we captured of looters at Hibbett Sports and Kmart.
And we also got these images from right outside the Family Dollar store in Ferguson. The state SWAT team arriving. Police taking several people into custody.
We have several crews covering several angles of this local and national story.
Yeah, including our Laura Hediger live at the staging area of authorities this morning. And she has been talking with the St. Louis County Police Department. Joins us live with an interview. Laura.
Hey, Claire and Andre, yes, I'm joining you by Officer Brian Shellman with St. Louis County Police. Officer Shellman, really the first time I've gotten to talk to you much about this. So as of right now, what do our viewers at home need to know?
They need to know that the situation has calmed down a bit. We're still getting a few outlier calls as to people looking into and maybe canvassing some different businesses in the area. But we think that we have the looting under control for the most part.
Do you have any idea how many businesses were targeted overnight?
We really don't, because the last number I heard was 12, which is extremely low. I just heard of 4 or 5 more that they found in a strip mall. So we're trying to get those numbers together, and we will get those numbers, and we will give those to you as soon as we can.
Looking behind me, there's an overwhelming amount of police officers. How many municipalities, how many departments responded to all this overnight?
Yeah, so I'd explain that as in the law enforcement community, we put out what's called a Code 1000, and that's upgraded. It was upgraded tonight to a Code 2000. Code 1000 really calls for about 30 additional officers. So Code 2000, you double that. The Ferguson Chief of Police, Tom Jackson, called for that Code 2000, requesting about 60 more officers. On our papers right now, after speaking with our communications, there was over 210 officers on scene. That doesn't, it's probably closer to 300, because when people hear this that aren't documented, they're still coming to help. So I'd say it's probably closer to 300. We have 19 municipalities that are documented. I'd call that number probably closer to 25.
We just heard the police canines barking over here. You were telling me earlier that some officers were injured overnight. What are the extent of their injuries, and where are they from?
Yeah, luckily one of our guys was hit with a brick. I believe he had minor injuries, and another one may have sustained a knee injury, but I don't know how severe.
Any updates on shootings overnight?
We don't think that anybody was actually shot. However, all night our guys were hearing shots being fired. I know that your people heard shots being fired as well. So, but we think at this point nobody's gone into a hospital saying that they had been shot, so we don't think that there's any victims of a shooting.
I've heard a chopper. I haven't seen it because the lights are off. One of our overnight crews said possibly shots were fired at one of your overnight or police choppers overnight.
Yeah, and we're sure that at least once the helicopter was getting shot at, and it could have been multiple times, 2 or 3. What
time was the height of when everything was the worst?
I'd like to answer that for you, but I really don't know, because I wasn't on scene and I wasn't the quote boots on the ground with these guys. So I really don't know, when it sort of peaked. If I had to guess, I would say it was just watching. It was probably around 11 o'clock.
Where do you guys go from here?
Well, we just asked the community to look. We understand that emotions run high in these things, but we have our job to do, and our detectives have a job to do to find out exactly what happened 2 days ago. But when things like this happen and you have this many officers respond, it takes them away from doing their jobs, takes them away from their communities as well. So we just please urge the community to just give us time, and we will do a thorough investigation and get this thing wrapped up.
And with time, though, there's still a lot of streets closed. It doesn't look like there's really a way for this target to be open whenever the sun comes up and normal business hours are supposed to begin. So today, what is the plan with opening streets and businesses? Yeah,
I think that would be better answered by Chief Tom Jackson of Ferguson, because it's still his jurisdiction, although he will be working with our chief and our commanders as well. So I don't know that. I'm sure somebody behind me does. If I find that out, I will definitely let you know.
Is there anything else I didn't ask you that I should have that you'd like to include?
You know, not at this point. I think that we pretty much covered everything, and like I said, we're still trying to get arrest numbers for you and how many places were actually damaged, and once we get those, we'll pass them along.
My final question, I've been talking to some of my colleagues who've been in the business 16, 20 plus years. They said that by far this is the craziest night they have ever experienced. How has it been as a police officer and for some of the other officers you've spoken to tonight?
Yeah, well, I've been a policeman for 12 years, and I haven't seen anything remotely close to this. I've spoken tonight with, and this morning with, numerous veteran officers who have 25 plus years, and they haven't seen anything like this, so that should tell you exactly what we dealt with tonight.
Officer Shellman, thank you so much. I know it's going to be crazy for you. We appreciate you speaking with us live here on Channel 4. I'll be checking in with Officer Shellman all morning, bringing you guys the latest updates from the police investigation here at this staging area. Claire and Andre will send it back to you.
Laura, thank you very much. A lot of information coming out of that interview. Hundreds of officers on the scene. He's still trying to tally up how many businesses damaged, but in his 12 years on the force, never seen anything like this.
Or veterans,
And
25 plus years, nothing remotely close to this. So great perspective of what exactly our community is dealing with right now and trying to recover.
And speaking of perspective, we have our own perspective. Even our own News 4 crew targeted in Ferguson. Take a look at the damage that was done to our own live truck overnight. 2 of the windows busted out. This happened near Canfield and West Florissant, near the shooting scene. Our crews forced to flee for safety. Thankfully, no one was injured.
And we're learning there may be another threat looming for people in the Ferguson area. It centers around a group called Anonymous that launches cyber attacks targeting U.S. government and large corporations. Anonymous has now created Operation Ferguson, encouraging the community to take to the streets.
We have to take ownership, and we, I'm not saying black or white, we as a community have to take ownership for this, and that is the reason why I'm out here, because I want to show my part.
Operation Ferguson tweeted last night that Anonymous will only launch cyber attacks in Ferguson in direct response to any police abuse of protesters. The group is also calling for local lawmakers to pay attention and to take action.
Obviously.